Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here, and I'm going to be doing a really fun video today. We're going to be talking about my top 10 spring eyeshadow palettes for 2022. Now, these are palettes that I have literally sitting on my desk, and I'm saying, Christina, for spring, you need to start using these, and they're gonna be like in my rotation for spring. And I really feel like some of these I've gotten more use out of than others. I'm not going to be ranking these, so there's no particular order here. These are just palettes that I am pulling out and I'm going to be using for the spring of 2022, and I really like them. Miami spring has been for such a long time already that I almost feel like we're going into summer. So this is going to be going into summer as well, okay? So anyways, if you are new, please don't forget to go ahead and hit subscribe, join the family, but let's get into it right now. So the first one I'm going to show you is one that I kind of am obsessed with, and if you are a fan of the channel and you guys know my Buying Everything Natasha, then you know that she's going to be releasing another version of the retro. So this is the mini retro. This is what started it all. Looks just like this. So it's this beautiful, very light, airy palette, perfect for the springtime. I actually love using this palette. Haven't actually used it this spring, but I'm putting it in my rotation of palettes that I really want to get my use out of for the spring, because this is like the colorways that even going into the summer I love to use. Very light, very airy. You know, I feel like the clothes sometimes can be a little bit more pops of color, or it could be very muted down. And I just feel like this is a palette that kind of like goes with all the looks. And yeah, really love this palette. One of my absolute favorites. Now, another one that I'm putting in my rotation because I actually love this palette and have not been using it because I keep buying new palettes. It's from Huda Beauty. So the Rose Quartz. This was a new addition to the family. I absolutely love this palette though, but like I said, have not been getting my use out of it. And it's such a good springy palette. You've got all the beautiful, neutral, really light, airy colors in here, which I love for spring. I also really like these type of colors for summer. Sometimes in summer, I like to throw in a little bit more pops of color. But I do think that this is a beautiful springtime palette. So this is one I'm definitely going to have to start getting my use out of because I really, really love it. It's so, so pretty, and I haven't. And I really think the quality is good too. So another one that is new to the family as well, and I really love this one. So this is from Pat McGrath. So this is her original Divine Rose. I've wanted the original for so long, and I kept on skipping over it until the day that Pat McGrath accidentally on her website did an additional 20% off of 20% off, and I got this for like 40 something. I don't even think it was 40%. I think it was more than 40%. This was literally the steal of a lifetime, and I had to do it, and I am so excited that I did because this palette is so perfect for my spring summer vibes. Like this is just calling to me. I've used it a couple times already. It's gonna be in a 5-day challenge coming really, really soon, so I'm gonna be getting more use out of it, but this is just, this is spring to me. It's so pretty. Okay, so another one that is going to be, another one that's new. Why are these all new? Another one that's new is the Pastel palette from Natasha. So this is like kind of like one of those palettes that I will say, this is that palette that I will say not going to use all the time. Definitely not. But there's a time and a place for pastels on the lids, especially when it comes to spring and also when it comes to summer, because I can play with some of these really beautiful shimmers all over the lid for summer, and I think I could like really be excited for it, you know? So this is like that palette that's like not for everybody, but if you do have it, now's the time to take advantage of it. So I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of this palette now for spring and summer. So I'm going to have to start thinking of some fun looks to do with that palette, but we're definitely going to be using it. So I'm going to go to an older palette, which is not even that old, but Natasha Denona released this face and eye palette, the Glam face palette. Do you guys remember this one? Oh my God, it launched so long ago. I think it was December, but I feel like this is such old news already, but I have to get my use out of this, and this is such a spring palette to me. Like these colors right here, that's like the looks that I do for spring. Beautiful wash of like champagne with a deepened outer edge. This is just like those airy looks. And I also, when I go on like beach like vacations, I like to do a little bit of makeup, especially if you're gonna be going like to dinners or lunches, because I just feel like just that little bit of glitter on the lid just does so much. So this is like something I would take. So this is totally a spring summer palette for me, and I need to start using it, so I'm putting it in my rotation because it's perfect. Now we're gonna go into some that are a little bit older, but this one right here from Charlotte Tilbury, I really like this. This is the Exagger Eyes, Bigger Eyes. I think it's just called the Exagger Eyes. This palette is so pretty, but it's so muted down and it's so elegant that right now is the vibe. You know, like if I'm wearing a really nice pink dress or something that's very subtle, this is the vibe for the eyes. You know, like you want something that's not so in your face. You want something elegant. This gives me those elegant vibes. And when fall starts to come around is where I start to pull out like those deeper palettes that I really want to jazz up like the outer V's. But like now in the summer and the spring, this is like what I go for, and I really like this one. So that's something that I will definitely be going into a lot. Oh, another one that I really honestly just need to use up is the Soft Glam from ABH. This is just a palette that's just very easy to use, and I need to use this up. Like there's so many colors in here that need to be used up. So I'm going to put it in my rotation for spring palettes so that I can basically go through this. I mean, I don't like to like hoard eyeshadow palettes. So like if I can start to use them and they start to like get dents in them, I feel a little bit more confident in throwing them out because they're older or not or whatnot. But I typically just try to use them, you know, like I want to just use them a little bit more. So this is one that just needs to be used, and this is the spring vibe. Like these are spring vibes. That's the colors that we got going here. And the next thing is Huda Beauty. So Huda Beauty has this beautiful khaki obsession. I love this palette. Okay, now this one I could use in the fall time as well, but I just feel like for spring, these are like a little airier. You've got a little green in there. I love this row right up here. I feel like this is like the vibes that I'm hoping that Natasha Denona's new retro is gonna look like. I think she's gonna call it the Retro Glam, which that doesn't sound like it's going to be like soft and airy, but either way, I hope it's gonna look more like this vibe. I love these colors. I think that these do like really gorgeous like springy looks, so I'm really excited to actually use this one again. This one has to be top of my row to use. I'm not very excited about this palette. I'm gonna say like this is not like the best palette in the world, but I really feel like I need to use this. This is this one. Okay, so the Urban Decay Wild Greens. I don't love this palette, and it's not that the quality was bad, it's just the quality was okay and the color selection was a little bit hard to use, but I've got it and I have to use it. And I've noticed that it's like one of those palettes I never reach for. That happens with color stories that are a little harder to use. I realize like I don't want to use it. So I want to try to force myself to use this a little bit more. So I'm throwing it into my rotation. These are total spring colors. I should be able to use it pretty well for spring, you know? But maybe what I'll do is give you guys a follow-up on, you know, all these palettes and how well they did. So now let's throw in Natasha Denona's Retro palette. So Retro is so insane. I have not used it that often. I've had it for quite a while. I feel like now is the time to do this because it has all those beautiful light and airy springy looks. Now also Retro can go really good into the fall because you've got those deepening, but I do think like right now for spring is where I could really take advantage of this palette. This color here, Jasper, is just like my favorite from this palette. So I think like now's the time, Christina. Now's the time. Definitely one of those spring palettes that I need to start using a lot more, and I will be using a lot more now. So those are the 10 palettes that I really want to start using up for the spring. So these are my top 10 spring palettes that I need to use, okay? So I think that in my collection, there may be some other palettes that I would use during the springtime, kind of like the Natasha Denona Circle Loco and stuff like that. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to use these as much as I can, and then when the summer comes around, I'm going to add in some of those real pops of color like Circle Loco and not, and really try to kind of manage the collection and start using more product, because even though I love buying the new releases, and obviously still gonna be buying the new releases, still doing my Make Up Your Minds, still doing my first impressions, I still think that it's important to kind of give some context on how to use these palettes, and having something in like a rotation, like picking certain palettes that you really want to just try to use and you put them aside and you reach for those, is kind of a great way to really narrow down which palettes are just not useful in your collection. Like for example, if I notice I never grabbed the Wild Greens and I gave myself a few months to really use it, then I really know that this is not worth my collection. Now, I probably won't throw it away or donate it because it can come in handy for my channel. But if I was a regular person, I probably would just go ahead and donate this or give it away because I would know already. Like literally gave myself like 3 months and I wasn't doing it. So it's about time, you know? So I think I'm gonna start doing that. And maybe what I will do is after, when we're getting close to the summer and I'm gonna add a few new summer palettes into my rotation, what I'll do is I'll let you guys know which one of these palettes I actually really wanted to use and which ones I was kind of like, no. Just so I can kind of share with you guys some context on, you know, which ones I reached for the most, which ones I loved the most, and I can kind of give you guys some better ideas that way. But yeah, I'm not saying that I'm only gonna use these palettes, okay? I can't say that because like I said, I love to add new makeup, so there's gonna be new stuff. But these are gonna be the ones I'm gonna try my best to pick from. And hopefully this little experiment works out okay. I'm definitely going to be trying my best to pick from these when new releases are not releasing. And if you guys haven't noticed, new releases really aren't releasing that much lately. I feel like the makeup industry has kind of like relaxed a little. I kind of feel back to like 2016 time when it wasn't like push. It's kind of slowed down, which is, I think, a little refreshing. I was kind of getting tired of seeing new. Obviously, when the holidays start coming around by midsummer, I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of stuff coming out. But I do think it's the slowest I've seen it in a long time. So in a way, it's refreshing because now we can do some more creative content and use up some of the makeup that we already have. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what your top 10 spring palettes are that you're going to be using this spring. If you want to join in with me and maybe grab some palettes to try using for a few months before summer comes, then go ahead and join in with me. And don't forget to send me DMs over on Instagram at Christina Brooke Beauty if you want to tell me what palettes you're using or you want to talk more. It's really easy for me to talk to you guys over there. So anyways, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.